My name is Priscilla and I'm from Sydney, Australia. If you are a new member of our community, please accept our wholehearted welcome and know that if you're unsure or have any questions about our practices and topics, we're all here to help. And if you're a regular, well, welcome back. It is customary in Australia to begin any meeting by acknowledging the traditional owners of our land. So in the spirit of reconciliation, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we walk, study and reside, the Wodi people of the Dharma Nation. And I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I also pay my respects to the traditional custodians of the various lands on which you all are. The check-in sessions have been developed by our Communities of Practice team and the entire community. While we are not a problem-solving community, these sessions aim to provide space and to develop a reflective practice in response to changes. Guided by humanistic Buddhism, we would like to cultivate our practices and build memorable friendships. Today, we're excited to be introducing a new series called Intergenerational Learning. We're inviting 4 different generations to share their experiences, challenges, and wisdom over a few weeks. And today, it's a delight to introduce our friend, Professor Stephen Hill, who will be speaking about life as an elder. Please welcome Stephen.
Thank you, Priscilla. Priscilla's in charge today, I should add. I'm going to spend just a minute or two relaxing because you've got to spend the next half hour being old. So you need this slight period of meditation. So please let me ask you to take a deep breath and close your eyes and hold that breath and just look at it for a moment. Just feel it within you. Take another breath. Keep this conscious breathing going and shuffle around until you're comfortable. And I suggest you maybe just check out your body a little bit. Little bits will be strained and you can get rid of that. Think about your face, maybe tensions you're holding there, perhaps tensions or problems you have with your neck or your hands or your arms. Go down to your waist. Keep breathing all this time, of course, being conscious of that. And if you have any stray thoughts, just watch them go past and try and stop them. Just be calm and concentrate. Now we'll pause. But just keep breathing, being conscious of your breath and being with the moment that you're in right now. Okay, keep watching that breath, keep relaxing. And as you're ready, perhaps now open your eyes, come back to the room, and we'll move on from here. Okay, just relax and be ready to be old for the next 30 minutes along with me. Well, where I start here is that I'm 80 this year. The aches, the pains, and the memory lapses remind me every day when I'm not lost in another world of thinking about the past. And so too does the loss of lifelong friends and family who are no longer in my address book. In other words, mortality becomes very real. Many of those around us have retired and they've chosen to hang around waiting for their final moments, perhaps by buying a property up the coast and a fishing boat and basically whiling away their time in an ideal of comfort, but not with any cares, not with any particular reminiscences, just basically living as best they can, as long as they can, being conscious of their mortality and making it comfortable. But let's turn that around and instead embrace the impermanence or the value impermanence, not fear. Priscilla, I'll get you to turn on, if you would, the slide. Recognize that you're blessed to be here for a while now. with 6 or 7 decades of experience that you've learned from. And where, in fact, your world as an elder can be the richest part of your entire life, where you can contribute so much, but your time to do this is finite. And this is something which becomes very, very real indeed. When you were, say, 20 years old, 4 years meant that maybe you get through university. 10 years meant you might get married and have a child in the back seat of the car. But these ages now are not the same. What that period might mean is basically having a tombstone with your memory on it. In the early days when you were young, everything was possible. Death was not for me, but for old people that can wait. I'm going exploring now. Well, I did. I started with a moral base in Christianity and youth leadership in the Presbyterian Church, and what I thought was to be a research science career. And then I moved through a completely unplanned set of doors in the course of my life, indeed becoming, and I've got some of these glimpses here in front of you, I became a hippie after some period in Chicago, and then a sociology professor when I was just 30, and a rock muso at night, and then ended up as an ambassador of the United Nations. I didn't really quite know where I was going to end up at all. I could never have dreamed of any of this when I was young. But now I'm here, and it's time to reflect, not leave my mind on the sidelines of elderly lifestyle, because life teaches you, and we, the elders, can give a few clues of perhaps what we have learned of a good, productive, human-connected life. And they can matter, peering in the door for those who are peering in the door of their future. For me, this is the benefit of intergenerational conversation or communication, what we're doing for the next 4 weeks. The essence of the strength of our very humanity, connecting and learning from each other, particularly across what we can learn from generations. I've had the benefit of working, I myself have had the benefit of working across very different cultures and people just by virtue of being involved in the United Nations, in particular, across many developing countries. And this is a benefit, a real benefit now. So very quickly, to the conclusions from the whole of my life is the benefit of breadth. And I'm not alone, because I find the breadth and the depth of humanity, connectedness and understanding is there amongst people of similar age to me, amongst this group here, and amongst our Sunday check-in group. Because I think we're all seeing the world and our experience in our life through the lens of what ultimately are our key humanistic Buddhist values. And this is the conclusion for me of a whole of life experience and getting stronger and stronger. At heart is compassion. The focus of all attention is our humanity. And the frame for our lives is impermanence. This is not a weakness. This is a power. This is a strength. So let's move on to what I'd regard as 5 basic lessons that we learn from this. The gentleman at the top, by the way, comes from Bhutan, a country where Meg has spent some time with great benefit. First, never get caught in the bright lights of self-interest objectives, even working in business or anywhere. Be always conscious of the other people too. Second, this is things that I believe from my own experience. It certainly is not wealth that brings happiness. In fact, it can be a danger, but connectedness and care. And I've seen the absolutely poorest people who are just extraordinarily gifted in terms of care and compassion, and they're happy. Third, you must be what you claimed you want, the claim that you want the community to be and what you want to be. You've got to be it, not just talk it. Don't shout it. The strongest influence of this integrity is that people trust you and you can really connect. The fourth is to listen, and I mean listen deeply, not just hear a few words here and there, but listen to what underlies the other person's need and think carefully about that rather than just what you think at the start is your assumption. And the fifth and most powerful is compassion. You are connected. There's enormous benefit in what I've found, certainly, as what I describe as the power of the gift, without any expectation of something coming back for you, because what this actually brings is absolute trust and people doing what they need to do anyway. This, believe it or not, was what I found the most important thing to do when I was working in the United Nations. And as I come to conclude now, I'll tell you a very brief but a lovely story. It's on May the 3rd last year, CNN reported a search for a woman called Tracy Peck, who 23 years ago had been sitting on a flight from Amsterdam to the United States next to two young, very scared women, refugees from Yugoslavia. She felt great compassion for them because they felt like her daughters. And so as she got off the flight, she pulled out an envelope and put $100 bill in it and her own earrings and gave it to them and said every best wish and didn't think about it anymore. But the act transformed the lives of these two young women. And for the last 10 years, they'd been trying to find her, basically to say thank you. First, it meant that suddenly the world of America, which they were scared of when they're coming out as refugees, was beautiful. Secondly, it was immediately useful. They'd used the money to scrape by eating pancakes and Coca-Cola, but they got through some of that way. And when the young women tracked Tracy down, Vanya, one of them, said, "I've been paying it forward ever since." In other words, compassion and the power of the gift spreads. It becomes something which then spreads even further through the rest of our humanity. So as final notes about intergenerational communication as an elder, in your 70s, you have the breadth of experience and judgment to see and respond with humanity depth. Having seen so much of life's alternatives, if only you look and listen and reflect. No one responds to being preached at, you must listen. Crossing the time gap is a source of learning for both of you. I certainly learn so much from young people these days, including being able to fix my computer, but more in terms of understanding life and the depth of life experience. And when I was reflecting on this, Priscilla offered a couple of other ideas too, which are very important. The first was humor. Apart from making communication fun, it also implies looking at the issue being discussed from quite different perspectives, even absurd ones. And that helps a great deal in seeing the essence of what really it is that you're talking about or thinking about or doing. And gentleness, sharing, caring, being open, not demanding, and communication. This is what being old, I think, and being an elder really allows you to be gentle. And it's such a lovely place to be, particularly for communication across generations. So therefore, we come to the ultimate goal. And the ultimate goal for me is strengthening the power of our shared humanity, the benefit all around us. Ultimately, the source not only of peace and value in our own lives, but also of peace in the world generally and equality in the beneficial development of everybody. So I finish with this image, which I regard as touching the passing across time. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you, Stephen, for this exploration into older age, which has been so full of wisdom and optimism for us all. And now we're going to contemplate the following questions which Stephen has set for us. And the first one being, what has been your most important life lesson so far? The second one, if you came across an older person who seems genuinely wise and experienced, what would you want to learn from them? And Stephen asks that if you're comfortable, as we share in the chat and come together, if you just state which age group, decade you're speaking from, so we have an idea in this intergenerational conversation. So now we'll be placed in groups of 3 to 4 to share and discuss those questions. In the discussion, we recommend you spend some time getting to know each other and then discussing those questions. There'll be some Zoom notifications to guide you, but feel free to let the flow of discussions guide you as well. Our sessions are guided by metta, which is unconditional love and kindness for all living beings. Let's use these breakout sessions to express and receive loving kindness to and from one another. Take the time to pause, to share, and to listen. We'll also ask you to share some of your findings with a larger group at the end of the discussion. But for now, let's go to the rooms for some rich and nourishing discussions. See you all in 15 minutes. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. And I hope you all enjoyed the discussions on your important life lessons and what you'd love to learn from an older person if you came across someone that you admired and respected. So I'm going to hand over to Stephen to read the comments, but I'll just ask everyone if they had any insights to type it into the chat box. Now, Stephen has asked if you wouldn't mind, if you're comfortable writing the decade that you're speaking from. So I'd be speaking from my 40s, and then he'll read out a few comments and then we'll discuss some more at 11:30.
We're all in this together, and asking genuinely for advice opens the space. Absolutely true, Liam. I mean, I think it's a matter of, it's all part of listening, isn't it? It's all part of actually finding ways of really seeking to learn without trying to dominate from our own point of view in the first place. And Joey, important life lesson, we're all timeless. We're age is a number in this particular body and form. As such, our cultivation journey has been informed by various experiences. We have, therefore, we bring empathy and compassion to each other. I couldn't agree more. And Len, acting our part as individuals is surely necessary. Len, you might like to say more about that. I mean, we are all individuals without the slightest question. And I think one of the things we need to do particularly is to be able to have compassion for ourselves and to each other.
Keep it writing in the chat box for everyone though. So we love hearing these comments, and the poster team will create the poster, which you all receive in the midweek emails. So, but we will finish up for now. Thank you, Stephen. And we really hope the check-in session was useful to you all today, and you experienced the unconditional love and compassion of this community. For anyone who might be experiencing a greater need than what today could meet, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. And you can also reach out to the professional organisations on the screen. So just an announcement about an upcoming event next week. Venerable Joey will be speaking at the Meta Centre on Wednesday evening on the 15th of March. And it will be a reflective workshop based on some beautiful artworks and entitled Painting Enlightenment, Healing Visions of the Heart Sutra. And we'll share the link for registration later in the chat box. Continuing on the intergenerational conversations, next Sunday, we'll have our youth team. So Liam, Xiaomong and Yujun will be responding to Stephen and presenting the youthful voice in On Our Way. So we're also seeking interested facilitators for the other generations in this series. So if you are interested in facilitating a session and sharing your wisdom, and you're between the ages of 30 to 70, so please contact us via email. So as we check out today, let's recite the dedication of merits together to send love and compassion to whoever is in need.
Let us now dedicate the goodness of what you have done to all living beings. May kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity pervade all worlds. May we cherish and build affinities to benefit all beings. May Chan, Pure Land, and precepts inspire equality and patience. May our gratitude and humility give rise to great vows.
So a big thank you to Stephen for all the effort and wisdom and hope you've given us and your generous sharing today. Thank you, Lai Chin, for being our IT guru today, as you are for so many weeks. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. It's been a wonderful turnout today. We'll start our plenary shortly, so please do stay around if you have time. Otherwise, we'll see you all again for the youth session next Sunday at 11 a.m. Thank you.